You must have noticed that William's usual cheerful attitude has given way to a more serious, sometimes worried look. And what's happening is that the burden of his feud with Harry is having unwanted collateral damage with none other than Her Majesty the Queen, as you're about to find out. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. This is a photograph that I tweeted a few weeks ago. Here, William and Catherine were at the Anzac Day service at Westminster Abbey. What first caught my attention is that we are not used to the Cambridges showing this kind of facial expressions. Even if this was a service, and maybe it could have been a poignant moment, we have seen them in similar circumstances with more neutral faces. They both have the experience as working royals to know how to behave and which emotions are appropriate for every moment. But especially William, he looks wary. In body language is something that you catch with a combination of posture, the shape of the mouth, and how the eyes and the flesh around the eyes change depending on the person's stress, circumstances, and many other clues. Now, I told myself this is just one picture and we should never jump to conclusions from just one photo. That is not fair for anyone, including Meghan. It's like both Charles and William's faces during the state opening of Parliament. But let's focus on William this time. They were attending this engagement on behalf of the Queen, and as I have mentioned earlier, I'm sure that she is the reason William looks so worried. This picture is another example of that wary look, a facial expression that goes beyond just being serious or humble, or any of the regular expressions that a working royal would display. That's why I have mentioned so many times that it's so important to understand the circumstances. And the concerns of the Queen's mobility issues are mounting every day, and this must be very worrisome for both Charles and William, not because the burden that is mounting over their shoulders, but it must be facing the reality of time passing by, and Her Majesty is, like every one of us, a human being. Worst part of this is that Harry and Meghan enter the mix. Because even if it's confirmed that the Harkles are not going to be present at the balcony during the Jubilee celebrations, something that made so many people feel relieved, it's no wonder that their sole presence is going to be a conflict. Just the fact that we are aware that their Netflix crew will not be able to film anything about interactions with the royal family or anything related to the Jubilee is proof that this conversation happened, that there was some sort of negotiation that involved William and Charles, and I will put all my chips on William being the one drawing the line on the sand. But he also knows that the Queen wants to see Harry and Archie and Lilibet. No, Meghan, not you. Please, sit down. Okay, wait for your turn. Pay attention to the number on the screen. We will call you. And yes, Meghan and Harry desperately need that visit to the Queen just for a mere practical standpoint. Netflix already has second thoughts about whatever was signed on that contract that has the Harkles' names on it. Meghan's animated production Pearl was already agged. They were expecting to get any kind of content from those Jubilee celebrations, and it's no longer possible. Even Harry sitting down with Hoda Kotb was an issue because it was for NBC, which is a rival of Netflix. I mean, who is in charge at Archewell of this stuff? Is there anyone that actually oversees whatever dumb decisions these two make against their best interests? It seems that, allegedly, they have asked Oprah to give a second interview, maybe to backtrack on what they said last year, I guess. But we know that the Harkles' last shot at relevance is to get that picture of Lilibet with the Queen. And you can be sure that the timing will be for maximum exposure. Now, I have said it many times, and I'll say that again. Catherine is a critical factor in this family dynamics because she greatly helps William with his emotional state and assertiveness. One proof is that in their latest engagement, they both looked genuinely happy. This is the positive magic spell that she has the ability to cast on William. But he's at a crossroads now. His responsibilities are mounting, and at the same time, he must not like seeing his grandmother like this, so frail. It must be really hard to understand. How can Harry possibly be focused on making things worse for everyone? He has this security tantrum that he and his family somehow feel threatened in the UK, that he's about to release memoirs and nobody knows what he could come up with, and what's more, now he claims that he's the protector of Queen Elizabeth II. How can anyone make sense of such behavior? I would love to read your opinion in the comments. I remember that Neil Shaw made a video last year about one member of the royal family that really missed Harry, and it was none other than Prince George. And it's easy to understand why. We have always seen that Harry gets along with children, that he has a lot of fun with them, and they feel at ease with him. It's not hard to imagine that his nephew would have felt that he had the coolest uncle in the world. Well, that was until he left for the US because of reasons. But I just mentioned this because this is the kind of family matters that might sound petty in the greatest scheme of things, but in fact those are the finest representations of what means to be hurt by someone that you once felt close. And I'm also talking about William because he knows he's the one to make the tough decisions regarding Harry, and there is a very good reason for this. The Queen just wishes to see her family reunited again, because that's what you truly want on a celebration like this. What use is such a moment in history, in your life, if you don't have your loved ones around you? That's what makes moments special, the people you spend them with. And most probably Charles agrees on that. For whatever Harry has done so far, he must have the natural parenting guilt of not knowing if there was anything that he could have done differently to prevent or foresee or make things happen in a different way. So even if both the Queen and Charles are level-headed, it's William the one that can put some order in this chaos. Because at the same time, this is not just a family gathering, but also the very representation of the British monarchy. And you know how it goes. Image, perception, it's everything in public relations, and that's how the British monarchy is so influential worldwide, and the UK's second greatest asset, after fish and chips, of course. From this point onwards, it becomes so much more critical to pay attention to William's body language, and also how the Harkles are still pushing the narrative that they are doing the Queen some kind of favor by attending the Jubilee celebrations. Because you can be sure that this will be stressful weeks with William doing all he can do to prevent this conflict to affect his grandmother. That's what makes Harry's remarks so much more cynical, because he's well aware that whatever he has done so far has only helped deteriorate the perception of the public on the royal family, and of course, that must have been a source of sadness for his grandmother. There is no way around this. And we already passed that question. He's either doing this on purpose because he's evil, or he's at professional levels of imbecility. Either way, I'm sure that William knows the answer, but whatever action he decides to take, he will not be able to please everyone. I'm sure Catherine will help him do the right thing. You can always help me spot topics to analyze, following and tagging me on my Instagram account. And if you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.